You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This podcast, episode 758 update. Tonia Elrod's progress from heart failure to 15K finish line.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Hello, friends. Before we get into this fantastic conversation with Tonia about her hitting the freaking finish line for the Heart Mini 15K, I want to tell you about my friend Sarah and Team Fit With Me. If you're looking for a health coach, someone to help you with nutrition, with your fitness, with your gut health, with some hormonal issues, Sarah and Team Fit With Me are your ladies. I've been working with Sarah for over a year now. Sarah's been on this podcast multiple times. The first time I think was back in 2019. Was the first time Sarah was a guest on this podcast. So she is amazing. She's got her own amazing story, and now she's helping other women with their journey. And right now you can get 10% off month one of all packages, plans, and add-on services when you go to teamfitwithme.com/poundthis, and you'll find that in the show notes. Right now, though, let's talk to the amazing Tonia Elrod. Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine, returning guest and survivor of heart failure and also of the Heart Mini is Tonia Elrod. You made it! Yay! So I'm so bummed that I missed you running the Heart Mini, which we've discussed, a lot on this podcast, of you starting the training with Fleet Feet, doing the cross training with me as a personal trainer here at Cincy 360 Fitness in January. It was like January 3rd, right? Like it was the very beginning of January, to running the 15K. At the time of recording this, you did this yesterday.
Yes.
And I was still traveling. I was coming back from a trip from Oregon, and I was so bummed. I was like, I want to watch her cross the finish line. And I didn't get to see it, but you crossed it, right?
Yes, I crossed it.
So tell me about the race. How'd it go?
It went well. I mean, I feel like you and Feet Fleet both prepared me, for the race, which was fantastic. And I cried when I crossed the finish line. Yay. Yes. And everyone's like, what's wrong? I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's good tears.
Yeah.
I did it. I don't think I would have been able to do it without you and Feet Fleet for sure.
Oh, well, I mean, you're pretty dang strong, and you have a pretty strong willpower, so I think that you can probably do anything that you want to.
Yes. Can't we all?
Yeah, that's true. So how did Torrance go? Which, if anybody doesn't know, from Cincinnati, the Heart Mini, and I think it's in the half, too, there's just this massive, ridiculous hill that you have to run up and run back down, and it's scary. I mean, it sucks to walk up. Like, I can't imagine running up that thing.
Right. I know. I just kept in my mind, I've done the training. I've done the hill repeats. I've done the strength training with you, with my legs. And I just kept saying, just keep going. Don't stop. Keep running. No stopping. And little by little. So,
you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ran all the way up it. And very grateful on the way down.
Did you run or walk the way down?
Oh, ran.
Oh, dang.
Oh, yeah.
So I did the hill repeats with the walking group, or was walking with Fleet Feet a couple weeks ago. And they were suggesting running up and then walking down. Oh. So that's why I was asking if you ran or you walked it down.
I think I'm too type A. I'm like, we got to run down. We got to keep going now. We did the hard part. Let's.
So how did it feel when you got that part over with? You're like, the rest of this I'm going to breathe. Is it breeze?
Yes. Although I was so tired. So I just spent the going downhill getting my breath back.
Yeah. So what is there, like another mile? 2 miles left after you did
that was
hill?
about 2/3 of the way through, so a couple more miles after that. Yep.
Yikes. So how was that last mile?
It felt great.
Oh, yay.
I was like, I'm doing this. This is happening. And I just never thought it would happen. So sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. I just didn't think it was, even a year ago, definitely not 3 years ago, that it would ever be possible to accomplish something like this. So I'm just so grateful for all the support. We raised almost $7,000 for the American Heart Association.
That's awesome.
My team Tonia, my sister-in-law gets the credit for naming our team 3 years ago. And so it was great. It was just a great accomplishment for me and great to raise money for the American Heart Association.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do hard things. All this training happened. People said, it was cold yesterday. It was cold and windy and not good weather. I'm like, I've been running and training in worse weather than this.
Right? You had some brutal runs.
Yes. Yesterday was not the coldest or windiest run that I had. We've run in snow, rain, ice, single digits.
Oh, yeah.
All of our training was in that type of weather. So yesterday, everyone's like, it's such poor weather, and how'd you survive? I'm like, the weather wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It was, and it's almost like a life lesson. I felt like, when you do the hard work towards something, whether it's in quiet or in private, and you do all that hard work, it prepares you for whatever moment you have in life.
Yeah.
Whatever you're working towards. And then that moment becomes achievable because you've done all the hard work.
Yeah.
Leading up to it.
Well, I mean, it's just amazing too with, just to reiterate some of your story where it's that you had to relearn how to walk just a few years ago, where it's almost 3 years to the day of, you're having your event, your cardiac arrest, and, being in the hospital and dying and everything else, to taking just, hundreds of steps a day to running a 15K with a massive, insane hill in cold weather and just crushing it. I mean, God, that's just got to feel insane.
Yeah, it feels great. And it feels like it, not only did it feel great for me, but I feel just the community of people around me. There are so many friends and family over these past 3 years who've rallied around me to help me in everything, praying for me, cheering me on, and all the little things, from cheering me on just to start walking, helping, just, you can do it, you can walk, to leading up to this. So I feel like this was an accomplishment, not just for me, but for the whole community of people around me that have been on this journey with me. It's a long journey, and it's continuing to this day. So that was sweet, in that I felt like it wasn't just me crossing that finish line. It was me and everybody else together.
Well, and I mean, that shows too with raising $7,000 in just a few months, of how many people are just, amazed and inspired by your story and want to support an organization that supports people that have gone through, such horrific events that you've been through. And I mean, that's what, especially doing the Heart Mini specifically is such an amazing event to be at. You see all of these people that have been affected by heart disease and stroke and everything else that are out there, not only raising awareness and raising money for a great organization, but making these accomplishments that you've made. And it's like, it's just such a cool event. And it's awesome that you were there and brought so many more eyes and attention to that, and brought people that are there like, oh my God, Team Tonia, go.
Well, and you don't realize heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women. And I'm not sure there's awareness of that. And so there's odds that many of us are impacted by it. And I was asking my doctors, I'm like, gosh, I hear about other, fundraising and efforts in research for other illnesses, but I don't hear that much about heart disease. And my surgeon said, well, the reason is because there's not survivors like you. It's the #1 killer of men and women. And so I feel like there's a responsibility on my part, because I did survive and I am a survivor, to raise awareness and encourage people, check your blood pressure. You can do that at almost any store. You can get your cholesterol checked. Have an annual physical to ensure that you're preventing heart disease.
Yeah. And that's what's, there's just not all of it is preventable, but there's so much of it that is preventable. And it is just making healthy choices of just walking a little bit every day, getting a little bit of exercise in. Just like some conversations I had with some doctors from Christ Hospital where they're like, the number one thing you can do is just move. And it doesn't have to be running a 15K.
Right.
It's just getting up and walking around, movement, making some different food choices that can, some heart healthy choices. And some of this, a lot of it not a lot. I don't know the exact number, but it can be prevented. And that's what's crazy, that there isn't so much awareness or isn't conversations around this, with it being the number one killer of men and women, of why aren't we talking more about how we can prevent this for a large number of people. And, it's amazing that, the American Heart Association and Go Red, especially specifically talking about women, because women's heart disease is different than men's, of getting this awareness out and focusing on preventative measures and helping out people in ways to really combat this disease. And it's just, you have to shout pretty loud to get heard. But, hopefully by you doing this and us having this conversation might help somebody, go get a physical or walk a little bit more every day and maybe save a life.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah. And so, were you going to do anything special with that medal? Are you framing it or anything? Are you going to hang it somewhere?
I know. As soon as I got the picture, where's my medal? I need my medal. So I proudly wore it all day yesterday, and I have it in my room now. So
nice.
I love it.
So, are you going to continue on and run the half marathon for the Flying Pig?
I'm leaning towards yes, since it's like 6 weeks away, I think.
Yeah, it's in the beginning of May. So yeah, we're only a few weeks away.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, since I've gone this far, I should just continue to the half marathon. And maybe at that point, that would be capping off my competitive or loosely competitive, racing.
Yeah. Well, no pressure from me. I'm just asking. So is that something that, because I know that you would continue with the Fleet Feet running group to train for the half. So is that a decision that you have to make soon to know that you're going to stay in that group or not?
Yes. Yes. Probably like today, tomorrow, I need to make a decision.
You haven't made it yet?
No.
What's holding you back? Why don't you want to do it?
It's so much work. I'm so impressed with runners.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm impressed with any athlete that really spends, not really, just athletes that spend the time to do the training for the end goal. It's so impressive to watch so many of them. They're running 5-6 days a week. They're doing cross training. And now I'm a part of them.
Yeah, right.
Temporarily.
So for the past couple months, what has your training look like on a weekly basis?
Run twice with Feet Fleet. And then 3 or 4 days on my own, typically on my treadmill or outside, running. And they tell you exactly what miles you should run. And then a night a week with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot when you're, married, 3 kids, full-time job.
Yeah. So, it would be 6 more weeks of that. Or do you feel like if you didn't do it, would you look back and be like, dang, I could have just done 6 more weeks?
I know. So I'm kind of leaning towards it for the reasons that you stated.
Yeah. I'm not having regret.
I'm more than halfway there.
Oh, yeah. You got only 3 more miles to tack onto that.
Right.
When you were done with the 10 miles yesterday, did you think, I could do another 3? Yeah?
Yeah. But I think I can do anything now.
I agree. That is just an insane amount of work, but it's like, I'm just so freaking proud of you. Like that. That is just a commitment and just so much work, and being from where you started to getting this medal and being able to walk into the gym and not
exactly,
huddled over oh geez, I can't make it in here. It's that's so amazing, and it's just amazing what the human body can do.
Well, I agree with you. I remember starting in January in the first run with Feet Fleet, and it was only 4 miles. Of course, now I say only 4 miles. At the time, I was like, 4 miles? That's so long. Yeah. And it was 4 miles, and I struggled. And it was so windy, and it was cold, and I was like, what am I doing? I am not equipped or prepared to do what I've now signed up to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I struggled with breathing. I struggled mentally. And I wasn't sure. And, but just, okay, I'll just do that. I'll do that 4 miles. And it's going to be tough. And okay, and then the next day, okay, I'll run the next day. So I feel like I just took it one day at a time, one workout at a time, one run at a time, and all of a sudden 2.5 months go by and I ran a 15K.
Yeah. So how's your body feeling? Do you feel, well, I'm not going to give you any words. I'll let you describe.
No, just my legs are sore. But, there was one moment in the race where it was the first time running where, since my heart failure, that my heart was not the limiting factor. My legs hurt. I was like, this is great. My legs hurt, but my heart could do more. My cardio capacity could do more. And I was almost a little excited about that because always before that, it had always been
your heart
capability. Right.
How did your heart do with the hill and the cardio? I know you were concerned about that.
Yeah.
Fine?
Yeah.
Good. Oh,
yeah.
man. Just kicking it.
Yeah, exactly. It's doing great.
But how does your body feel like today versus in January? Or I guess before you started, in December? Like, can you notice a difference in your body from December to today?
Yes, I feel much stronger. Just overall. Just much stronger person. And I feel lighter on lighter and stronger. Lighter, on my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And stronger. Which is great. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah.
Where it feels more like myself before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, I'm so happy to hear that. Oh, I'm so glad that it went well and that, that you crossed that finish line and got your medal and got to celebrate yesterday. And I mean, you deserve it big time. And then you were also on the news last week.
Yes.
So that was cool that you're getting, getting again some more awareness out there and recognition. And I was like, oh, dang it. I wish I could be on the news because I could be our hype woman and be like, do you understand what a strong badass this woman is? I'm like, she's not going to say that about herself. But I'm like, it's just like, I'm so excited that you're chatting with me on this podcast because I just want, to be recognized of you're just doing these such amazing things and you're just so strong and so inspirational. And that's more than just running. You know what I mean? There's just so much more to it and your mindset towards it and just making those small goals and just overall your attitude towards all of this has just been so amazing and so inspirational on its own. And I just wish the whole world could recognize it because you're just such an amazing person.
Oh, thanks so much. And I'm trying to make a choice every day, since my heart failure to move forward and glass half full and keep progressing in a positive direction and have a positive mindset. And I don't have that every day.
Yeah.
But trying to do that. And while I'm doing that for myself, if that can help other people, think positively and move positively forward in their life and be aware of some of the health risks that they may have, then I've accomplished what I've set out to do.
Yeah, you've accomplished a lot. So if and no pressure, if you do run the half marathon, are you cool coming back and chatting about that too?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I don't think there's any hills as a girl. I always walk the half now for the pig. Nothing like Torrance. It's hilly, but I think that is running that hill on the Heart Mini is probably the worst run in the city it would get my stamp on that.
Yes. I think other runners would agree.
Yeah, right. That's where it's funny that it's for the Heart Mini. Well, you really get your heart going doing this one. And so, yeah, I think, not only if you could do this in general, but if you can do that hill and you were just fine and your heart did good, I think you, again, I don't want to feel like I'm pressuring you into making a decision, but it's like one of those things, if you, again, you can do anything you set your mind to, that I think that you can do it. And I'm so glad that you wanted to try and even do the training and see if you could do it and, see that you can crush it and you did a really awesome job and you feel strong out of it. And I think that's the important thing is just, you did this with the goal to just feel strong and to do something for your health and to see, you know, to have an accomplishment towards it. And it's just like, those are the feelings that you can't even really describe and nobody can take away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Yes, agree.
So thank you so much for sharing your journey. And well, I hope you come back and share some more. And I think you're so awesome. I just can't even say it enough. But I'm just so glad that you got to accomplish it and that you raised so much money and raised so much awareness. And and you just came in and just freaking crushed it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
AmandaValentineBites.com